Is sports fans? We are back for another episode of The Fan in the End. I'm your host, as always, Steven Rychel. The big man to the bottom, Mr. Ben Troupe is joining us, and the official announcement will come today. Mr. Marvin Powell III will be our third member in the chamber. So first and foremost, Marvin, appreciate you lending your Wednesday mornings to us and the fans here on the South Florida Tribune Network as well, my friend.
And listen, happy to be here. Love being on with you guys. Now it's fun. I really enjoy this. So
now
nobody said though, Steven. Listen, don't let Marvin's cool come collected out. Listen, if you are a UCLA Bruin, I don't even know what a Bruin is. A Bruin a bear? Is that what a Bruin is?
It's a special bear.
Okay. Yeah. Let me tell you. If you call off the trash, he sees it, he coming for you. I'm just saying, just because you're saying you're not safe, no, SC does not respect UCLA. I'm gonna say that again. They don't respect y'all. There's no reason to.
Yeah. Why would we? Who?
Listen. Basically, if you go to SC, they go, listen, somebody got to work us, right? We got to pay somebody. We'll hire the UCLA Bruins.
But before we kick things off, I wanted to give Marvin a little spotlight here. I've seen him posting about this, and I feel like it was newsworthy to kind of bring this up. So the Jets came out, and their nominations for this year's Hall of Fame class is obviously Mark Gastineau, but the other one of the other names on the list is our pal. Now, I'm pretty sure that has some connection to you, Marvin. So can you tell me how excited you were hearing this information?
Listen, to me, this is late, but it's still a blessing. Yeah, it's when you retire from the NFL, you're eligible for the Hall of Fame for so many years. But once those years expire, then certain players are pushed to a senior list where they're still eligible for the Hall of Fame, just based upon outstanding careers, outstanding service to the NFL. And my father, Marvin Powell Jr., who was the first-round draft pick for the New York Jets in 1977, the number 4 pick overall, 5 Pro Bowls, 4 times All-Pro, president of the NFLPA, the first offensive tackle in Jet history to be named team MVP. And back when they gave these awards out, was also voted the best lineman in the NFL. I think this was 1979, 1980. He's had a worthy career. He was elite in his day, and it's obvious by the fact that he's still being recognized and being considered for the Hall of Fame. So we're hoping and praying. I'm going to do everything I can on my end to push to get him in there. But Mark Gastineau is absolutely somebody who belongs in the NFL. Along with my father, Marvin Powell Jr. So we're hoping and praying this happens. If not next year, then hopefully soon after.
Yeah, me and Ben have beaten on this drum. We kind of feel there's a laundry list of log jams. It doesn't matter if we're talking NFL, MLB, of guys that, you always hear these idiots online. Well, we don't want the Hall of okay or good. I'm like, listen, it's not just what you do on the field. It's what you do off the field. It's what you did to help change the game. And some of these guys deserve to be in there for those reasons.
Yeah.
Some of them. Go ahead, Marvin.
Yeah, I was going to say, when my dad was the president of the union, when he was the player rep, I mean, they were fighting for benefits. They were fighting for retirement benefits. This is when there was a time when in the NFL you got a paycheck and that was it. You're making hundreds of millions of dollars for the league, but there were no benefits for the players, no retirement benefits, medical, none of that. And that's what they were fighting for, that and free agency. And ultimately, it was, his era, his time, these guys, him and Gene Upshaw, these guys who pushed for player benefits, pushed for free agency, and ultimately got that. So, yeah, as a player contributor, he's somebody who absolutely needs to be in that Hall of Fame. And you're right. You hear a lot of, this isn't the Hall of Good, the Hall of Very Good. And people are right. And at the end of the day, if the voters feel he doesn't deserve to get in, it is what it is. But I genuinely believe, based on how he's impacted the league, how he's impacted every player who's in the league today. Work that they did back in those 70s and 80s was everything. So yeah.
But the question then becomes, I got to say this to Marvin, why I got him too. That knock on the door. I mean, it's the knock on the door for the Hall of Fame has become prestigious, right? Yeah, I don't got to worry about this. Ain't nobody in my family doing. If we there, we just happen to be at the right hotel in Canton or wherever they got that knocking on the door. But we might knock on somebody's door. Is this the right hotel? Don't knock on our door, man. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make sure. What is it gonna mean for you to hear that, right? And you open it up because your dad is. When we talk about the Hall of Very Good, we're not talking about your dad. By no means. I think what happens is, I remember when Drew Pearson got looked over the last time, and then he finally got in. You're not supposed to compare what players are doing now to what players did back. It was a total different game. I mean, Starworth and Lynn Swan got in. They didn't have, 1,000 catches, but go back to them Pittsburgh Steelers teams, right? Go back to when they your dad is a pioneer. And what happens is, I tell people, just because you don't know him don't mean he wasn't him. What they're saying, I didn't really know your dad. Go look at the film then. Oh, here's the Go ask any offensive lineman that's in. Say Marvin Powell from they're gonna sit back in their chair and go, oh man, because I like the fact that this is what the players can control. Hey man, y'all been looking over him because it's a popularity contest. Just because this guy's name on the list and you didn't see this guy play, not knowing who a guy is not a good enough reason I put him in. Do your freaking research. And I like the fact that the better a team is, the more you get credit to the players that came through those teams. When the teams aren't as good, they don't get. No, Tony Baselli is the only Hall of Famer for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That does not mean Fred Taylor shouldn't be that, right? Tony Baselli was him. He played 7 years? Incredible career for 7 years. When your dad gets in, I know Jared Payton personally, son of Walter Payton. And I asked him, man, what was it like standing on that stage? He says, man, I was too young to fully understand it. Like, I was so young when it happened. I mean, Jared said, man, I had hair then. You know what I'm saying? By the time I realized I ain't got no hair no more, but I want that for you, Marvin, because the Powell family needs to be recognized because most people just play football. They don't got to walk into the shoes of your dad and still go to SC. Like people go, Emmitt Smith's son went to Stanford. He wanted no part of Florida. I don't want no part of that. But Kevin Taylor, the son of Fred Taylor, went to Florida because he goes, well, I want to chase it. So when you get in, when you're on that stage, Marvin, enjoy yourself, man. Listen, I know y'all have to stand in, enjoy yourself, because I can only imagine what it was like for Shannon Sharpe to enshrine his brother. Those things are rare, man. You talk about rare air. Two dudes from the country in Georgia, not too far from where my dad and where we from in Georgia, and both of y'all got in. But if Shannon don't beat the drum, they'll just look over Sterling. They'll say, oh, So keep beating the drum. We definitely gonna do it over here on the Fan in the End because when your dad gets in, I'm gonna be sitting there with my leg like, watch Marvin. Well, that's Marvin right there. Marvin about to go crazy. He might be up there sea walking or something, Whatever he does, they gotta deal with it. And if you don't know, you don't know coach. People say, what is Marvin doing? Having his moment. Because it's just as much yours as it is your pops. Because, you know what I'm saying, to have the same name, hey, man, I respect it. And I guess, he hates Brett Favre and he hates Michael Strahan. He's like, dude, y'all, you broke my record with that freaking that's the worst way to get it I've ever seen in my life. But I'm looking forward to seeing your dad get in, and we gonna be over here on the Fan in the End, act like we had anything to do with it. We didn't. We gonna say yeah.
We're gonna make some noise about it. That's for sure. We got
no doubt.
We got the next few months to kind of help get the word out and lobby about it. Get in some of these sports writers' ears because for some reason, in this day and age, we still think sports writers should be inducting our athletes.
That needs to be reserved. That we need to. Sports writers are the biggest ego-driven people you've ever seen because all they do is move the goals and say, "Well, I didn't really like him. Could he play? Yeah, but I didn't like his attitude. Could he play?" And nothing against Bill Parcells, that didn't keep him getting in. You saw the way he coached and smoked the players? That didn't keep him from getting in, right? I don't like that part. Because you don't like me, you don't put me in. You shouldn't get to decide my legacy because you got a journalism degree. What is that about? Because you went to journalism school? Because you worked in the New York Times and the LA Times? That is the part that needs to switch, because you say, I got a Hall of Fame vote. I got a Heisman vote. Sir, you live in Idaho and eat potatoes every day. No, I have a problem with that. I do. There are certain things that needs to be They don't like ego-driven players, but your ego is why I'm not in. You don't believe me? When Lamar Jackson won his second MVP, he got 49 out of the 50 votes. You know who voted for the 50th guy? A guy from Buffalo. He voted for Josh Allen. And people talk about it ain't bias going on. Come on. Oh, and for those who be saying, Ben, why you always talking about Lamar Jackson, in the last 20 games, Lamar Jackson has accounted for 57 touchdowns and 4 picks in 20 games. Okay.
Put some respect on Lamar's name. As much as we give him a hard time about stuff, he still performs.
Yeah.
Speaking of performance, let's get into today's topic. You know, I'm gonna enjoy rubbing some salt into the wounds as it is today, because last week we were talking about the magic number for the Phillies was 9. Well, 2 days ago they clinched the division. Last night they put another whooping on the world champs, sweeping them in their house, and they are within a game of the best record in baseball. Obviously, last night here's the thing that they are a game behind the Brewers, and you know it almost looking like they're like almost like 8-9 games up on the Dodgers. So it looks like at the very least they're going to clinch a first round bye. What I want to ask you guys, obviously, when we started the season, no one thought the Phillies were going to be pushing 100 wins again. You know, a lot of people felt they would step back. They didn't really do a whole lot during the offseason. Now that we're you know more than the 3/4 of the way, you know, we're down to the last 10 games or so. Do you feel like that they're going to finish with the best record in baseball? Look around the league and see who are some of the hottest teams right now. I would have to say over the last 2 months, it is my Phillies. I still don't know what they're going to do when it gets to the playoffs. But do we think that they're going to finish with the best record in baseball over the next week and a half? Start off with Ben.
You know what? I'm going to do my best to be neutral because I cannot stand the Phillies. You know I'm an NL East guy like you. I know that's your team, Steven. This is the part of life I don't like because I have to give love to teams I can't stand. They probably will, because this is the baseball guys just, you know, kicking me in my behind saying, because I'm an antagonist when it comes to Bryce Harper. I can't stand his hair because it's nice. You know, he's always been him, right? He's always been him. They probably will, because I think Philly understands they need a different level of momentum going into the postseason, especially if you're going to get a bye. They're going to get a bye. I want to go into the postseason with momentum because, you know, our eyes are going to be on. It's going to be on Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper doesn't like being compared to Mike Trout for this reason. Now, Mike Trout has fell off a cliff. He's not the same player. We get that. But Bryce Harper is one of the faces of baseball who just never won a World Series, which that's a team distinction. I'm not giving, but you know how it is, Steven. Until he does, they're going to say, yeah, but he got that big old huge butt right there. So I think they will. I'm going to have to sit through this postseason, watch Bryce Harper, because Bryce Harper goes crazy in the postseason. It's not like his game. He doesn't Aaron Judge that thing. Aaron Judge takes a dip when he gets to the postseason. Yeah, they probably will, and I don't want to live in a world, man, with the Phillies winning the World Series, man. I got to deal with Bryce Harper, man. Because I got a lot of his fans be talking trash to me on the timelines. But I think they will. I think the Phillies are looking around that NL East and saying, hey, dude, Washington has done it. You know, the Braves have done, you know, like, we got to come to the party. We got arguably one of the top 10 player in baseball. We got a home run hitter that how many homers your boy got?
He's at 52 right now.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
He's 6 away from catching Ryan Howard's 58 when he was ripping the cover off the ball here in the early 2000s.
I mean, yeah, I see the Phils doing it.
I'll say this one. I think Kyle Schwarber is going to be the league MVP. I know a lot of people want to say Ohtani, they want to say Judge. Kyle Schwarber and the catcher out there in Seattle, what's it, Cal, whatever his name is. I think those two should be the guys that should be in contention for the league MVP this year. Just my thoughts. We'll see. I think that would, as far as Kyle Schwarber, that would put more money in his bank. You know, me and Scott were arguing Monday that, Kyle Schwarber's a rental player. I'm like, how do you rent a player for 3 seasons that you traded from another team? But Kyle Schwarber's been amazing the last few years, though.
The fan in me doesn't want the Phillies to do it. I don't want to do it. But trying my best to put on my neutral analyst hat, they're probably going to do it because if they have a season as good as they've had and they come up second and they got to go straight into the postseason, I mean, I'm not saying it's going to work against them, but I don't know how superstitions go. I know how superstitions go in football, baseball. I don't know. Do you want your team to be number one? Do you want them to get the bye? Do you want them to go straight? I don't really know. So you will have to school me on that, Steven.
I'll say it like this, Ben. They looked better a few years ago when they came in as a wild card and made that run to the World Series compared to the last few when they had the buys and they just won and done. They fell to the Mets last season when the Mets had to crawl and scratch and fight their way in. So we'll see how it all plays out. Let me get Marvin's thoughts on this. I know you're a Braves fan. I know you're not the biggest baseball fan in the world. What are you feeling now? Do you feel like the Phillies have enough momentum to finish the last few weeks with the best record in baseball, being as they're only a game behind the Brewers right now?
Okay.
I know it's going to hurt.
Yeah, first of all, I'm not a Braves fan. I'm a Win in Rome fan. Okay, I'm Win in Rome. Growing up in LA and New York, it's Dodgers and Yankees for me, baby. Okay.
Marvin.
Claim anybody, it's Dodgers and Yankees. I grew up in LA and New York.
I get the Dodgers. I get it. I get the Dodgers.
The Yankees.
The freaking evil empire.
Ricky Henderson. Come on, Dave.
No. I'm not. I can't be mad at you. It's just the fact that the other 29 teams in MLB, we have to come together to stop the Yankees, because the Yankees got. I don't want a Yankees can have a mini series. They can have an ongoing series on TV. Like, just pick a Yankees team. Derek Jeter, the captain, Manny Ramirez. It'll never stop. That's all I'm saying. It'll never stop.
Yeah. No, man. Listen, if Bryce can stay healthy and y'all got the momentum, it's realistic y'all can finish with the best record in baseball.
I'll say it like this: as long as the bats don't go cold, I think they have a chance. That's kind of the real thing. We know they have the pitching. The question is, can the bats stay hot when they need to? So that's the only thing I'm going to put on that. I'm in the line of thinking. I'm not going to say they're going to do it until they show me they can do it. They've fallen short each of the last 3 to 4 years here. Losing to the Astros in 6, losing to the Diamondbacks in the NLCS the year after, losing to the Mets last year. They've fallen short, so they have to show me they can stand up and become a championship team. I think they have the tools to do it. I think the trades that they made has helped balance them to do that. Getting a Johan Duran. I think Bader has stabilized the top of that lineup in a way they haven't had in the last few years. I mean, you got to look. Bryce Harper has let off. Kyle Schwarber has let off. Trey Turner has let off. Now you have a guy like Harrison Bader there who's actually really good in the outfield too. Is helping you out in that way. So we'll see what happens. They have to show me still. I love my Phillies. I always love my Phillies, but you got to show it to me. I'm not just going to just blindly give you this. But as we're talking baseball, I did want to mention this one. The last few weeks we've been beating up on fans with their unruly behavior and stuff like this. And we came across a feel good story from late last week. When the Royals were in town, we had Salvador Perez hit his 300th home run here in Citizens Bank Park, And instead of, a lot of times when those things happen, fans make crazy demands, things of that nature. What did this Phillies fan do? He didn't want anything. He didn't want an autograph. He didn't want anything. He just wanted to meet him after the game, say hi, talk a little baseball, and that was it. He didn't ask anything crazier of Mr. Perez. And that's what baseball is about sometimes. Sometimes it's not about what you're going to get from the athlete, what give you a sign this, give you bat, cleats, helmet, whatever the case may be. When you do have a fan that genuinely gets it and just say, here, man, here, this is yours as it is anyways. Just take your ball. Congratulations on your 300th home run. That's what it's really about, people. It's not about remember the craziness that was going around when we were during the steroid era home run craze. People asking crazy demands of McGuire and Socha, and a few years later when Bonds was doing, some fan was asking some ridiculous amount of money for I think it was his 70th, or I think it was his 70th that someone went crazy over. But I mean, this is what baseball is really about. Here's your ball. Nice to meet you. Congratulations. Things of that nature. Start with Marvin.
That fan ain't crazy. That fan been watching TV. That fan been looking at social media.
He's like, I'm not going to be pulling someone's hit list.
No. He was like, dang, it's coming right to me. The camera's on him. What do I do? Do I find a kid to give it to? Do I not snap? No, that fan is smart. I give this fan a lot of credit, though. It shows you the power of social media. It shows, hey, dude, I'm a regular hardworking dude. I don't need nobody coming at me, man. How can I be canceled when I'm just an everyday dude? You say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing. So I give that fan a lot of credit. Listen, I'm finna go off camera for a second. I just broke my freaking glass.
How do you do that?
Some more. I got some more. I just got to go get them real quick. I just want to make sure I get my take, and they're gonna take me by like a minute. I'm finna run off. Go get me because I ain't gonna. I know this Steven. I know this Marvin. I just can't see y'all, but I will be right back. Don't take me. I'll be right back.
Look at all three of us four-eyed knuckleheads, and he's the one that breaks.
Steve, man, look, I hear what you're saying about this is baseball, but this is also America. This is also the art of the deal. Yeah. This is also paid in full. This is also get money. This is also, I'm a sports fan who's watched and seen a bunch of baseball fans collect balls and get paid. I personally, it's cute and nice and, respectable that this person gave it up. I would have had no problem at all if this fan auctioned this thing or held it hostage for the highest amount of money. Yeah, listen, I think
let's think about it this way. The way I'm thinking about it, Ben, is it's Salvador Perez. It was his 300th home run. It's not like it was his 500th or 600th. It was just, he's just one of these guys who's been grinding his ass off. Almost 10 years or so now. So, and especially when you're in the opposing team's stadium, you worry about if you are going to get it back. You know what I mean? So it's one of these things. With all that we've seen over the last few weeks, it's nice to have one of these stories where you don't have a fan acting crazy, where you don't have a fan asking. He just wanted to meet him after the game, shake his hand, and talk.
Now I feel like a savage. Now you make me feel like I'm.
Listen, if I'm with you though, I'm with you. If I was there with my kids, guess what? You're gonna have to sign a couple things for my kids. But other than that, I get it though. I get what you're saying is that we are in a capitalist society. You capitalize on every opportunity that comes your way.
And it's like we try to separate that from sports to give fans this fantasy idea of what this is. This whole thing's about getting money from them $20 hot dogs and $30 bottles of water. You know what I'm saying? So listen, I think it's in the age of a Karen and all this crazy fan behavior, you're right. It's cool to see someone genuinely, just want to do what's right and want everybody to have a good experience. But I would have had no problem if that mentality was get rich or die trying. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have had no problem with him doing the American thing and getting that money.
Listen, Marvin was raised by a Hall of Fame daddy who dealt with an NFL that got everything out of him, but didn't want to compensate him. So when Marvin is talking, Marvin is saying, "Let me tell you something, man. Either you gonna live long enough to see your dreams come true, or you gonna work for somebody that did." Yeah. And it's like when we say things out loud, people go, "That's crazy." I go, "No, man." And let me tell you this, and I'm talking to my speakers out there. If you ain't getting money to be a speaker, you ain't a speaker. If they're not paying you to speak, hey man, you booked and busy. You got so many places to go. No, tell them, hey man, I need my miles. I need y'all need to recoup that. I need some some reimbursements. They're gonna be like, well, I'm like, some of y'all are going to speaking events that they paid tickets to be there, and you're just there for the experience. No. You network when you in your 20s. When you in your 30s and above, I ain't got time to network. No, I can network on Friday night, at an NFLPA Atlanta event. I can do that. I'm around the homies. Hey, man, you want to come to this event? No. I can't. What you doing? Me and Marvin got a podcast on Friday, so I can't be there. All right, can't do it. Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah. Ben dropping some hints of what could be going on in the future. But speaking of future, someone's future had just ended over the last few days, and he made a mark on baseball. And I gotta give it up. Let's talk about Robert Redford. Obviously, for the baseball world, we all know him as Roy Hobbs from The Natural. And baseball loved that movie so much that he's even got his stuff from the movie in the MLB Hall of Fame. Obviously, thoughts is with Robert and his family. Obviously, I believe he was like 89 years old. He was he lived a full life. He had a lot of great movie roles. My most recent one I remember him was him and Brad Pitt in Spy Game. I thought that was a really good movie that they did together. But I want to ask you guys, now that Robert's gone, where do you put The Natural? Is The Natural the best baseball movie that has ever been made? Do you have your choice of baseball movies? When you think of Hollywood baseball movie, what is the first one comes to your mind? Is it The Natural? Is it A League of Their Own? Is it Mr. Baseball? What is your favorite movie? I guess let's start with Marvin. What about you? You feel like The Natural is one up there, or do you have another one?
You know something? I think of Field of Dreams. I think I watched that when I was younger, got a little emotional. I think it got me. But when I think of baseball movies, without question, the number one I think about is Major League. It was just it was phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? It was comedic. It was a great comedy. And you didn't have to be a fan of baseball to appreciate the movie. Because it was this is Charlie Sheen, this is a young Charlie Sheen, in his prime. So Robert Redford absolutely is one of the best to ever do it. I can't tell you a bunch of his movies, but I've seen him a bunch, and he'll definitely be lost. I mean, he's somebody who, I'm 49 years old, and he's been relevant my whole life. You know what I'm saying? So he's somebody that I definitely give a shout out to, and rest in peace, and nothing but love for his family. But yeah, Major League was the movie for me, without question. That whole franchise.
Ben, what about you?
I love Major League, man. Serrano, you know what I'm saying? I mean, oh man, it's so darn. It's just so many guys in that movie. The movie for me is The Sandlot. That's the baseball movie, because it's about a bunch of young kids. Kid move into a new neighborhood. He knows nothing about Babe Ruth. That go freaking James Earl Jones, the voice of all voices, not named Sean Connery. But a movie to me that's an ultimate. I like Major League. I think Sandlot. But a movie to me makes you want to be a fan of that team. I'm not an Oakland A's fan. Moneyball is such a great movie because it takes you behind the scenes. Like, I mean, you got these analytic guys, but then you got these scouts that go Brad Pitt. So the ladies only watch it. They don't care about baseball. They just want to see Brad. They couldn't even remember the movie. But it's so many, man. I mean, you mentioned League of Their Own. I think of 42. With Chad Boseman. Mm-hmm. I think of Bull Durham. It's so many movies, man. We talk about baseball. that
Kevin
just goes
Costner
on.
is the baseball actor of Hollywood. Think
I
he's been in
mean,
three
listen,
different ones.
what was it now? Little Big League, Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
The Natural is to be in that category of movies. I look at a good movie, a great movie is when you tell your kids about it. Hey man, y'all never seen this? What? And it's movies like that because The Sandlot, man. I mean, they talk about them on ESPN like they're not fictitious characters. These aren't even real characters, right? But it was that big. Yeah, but The Natural is one of them. I mean, I'm not taking nothing away from it. The Rookie, that's another one. That's a really, really good movie.
Yep.
But yeah, but for me, the number one movie for me for baseball, I grew up on this, was the Bad News Bears. That was for me. A bunch of misfit kids that no one wanted.
And Walter Matthau, Bad News
Oh my
Bears.
God, man. It's such a him and the main character has such a I didn't even know this though. Y'all ever seen the movie The Watchmen? The movie The Watchmen? So it's a movie called The Watchmen. It's a superhero movie, Marvin. It's the guy that got the mask on his face that turned. That's the freaking picture. And the freaking Bad News, but that's him. That's that dude. So, but yeah, for me it is the bad. I mean, you got a bunch of kids drinking beer in the freaking dugout. They're drinking beer. So yeah, it's I think the greatest baseball movie is whatever, to each his own. There is no wrong choice because, like I said, outside of Walter Matthau, I don't know. I can't even think of the baseball movie that Keanu Reeves was the head baseball coach because
that was Hardball, wasn't it?
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan was one of the baseball players. He was, so, but The Natural is one of them. But you're not a real baseball enthusiast as far as movies if you don't know about Major League, man. Charlie Sheen, take nothing away from his historic career, whatever. I mean, everybody wants that role to say, man, I'm the closer. You know what I'm saying? Lost this stuff. I mean, yeah. Major League, Field of Dreams, Bull Durham, Moneyball, Bad News Bears. Take your pick, man. And I got a bunch of kids in my house that have seen nothing. I mean, these kids ain't seen anything. They be like, oh, I ain't never seen that before. I said, that's what happened when you grow up with cable. You grow up without cable, all you got is you know what I'm saying? Listen, we had no cable, but we did have a VCR. We did have PBS, Georgia Public Television with Channel 6, Channel 12, Channel 26. But we'll pop that bad boy in, and we knew the movies, man. When I think of Mr. Redford, I mean, I don't think of The Natural. I think of Indecent Proposal. That's what I think of. When I think of him, I'm just saying, I'm not saying you should go see it. I'm just saying Woody Harrelson, he might have to speak at his funeral. Like, yeah, man, I know it was fictitious, but I'm not doing that. I love my lady way too much. How much you said, sir? $1 million? I'll think about it. But no, not doing that. We're not doing that.
Think about it.
You know what I'm saying? But condolences to his family, man. Born in 1936? Dude. He's seen the world change 10, 15 times in his lifetime, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a guy that has a warehouse that has a bunch of old model TV, and he's selling for like $10 because no one wants them. Redford's seen everything. First this, first that. 89 years, man. That's a long time, man. But he definitely left an incredible legacy, no doubt.
Yeah, he did leave a legacy, and we talked about a lot of good baseball movies over this segment, but going from the good thing to what the hell thing, let's switch gears, talk a little basketball real quick. And over the past month or so, this whole Kawhi Leonard situation has gotten really, really weird. Apparently, there was something set up, to circumvent the cap, and there was this basic company that never ever got anything off, but somehow was paying him, a significant amount of money. There was, wasn't getting payments initially because he just wasn't there, and then when he started getting there, all of a sudden he was getting significant payments from this team. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this, and how hard you think Silver and the NBA is going to come down on Kawhi and the Clippers for this situation, because this is definitely salary cap manipulation, however you want to word it. But it's been one of those things. When they first came out, that heard that the league was going to try to like reverse like the whole situation that brought Kawhi there, which somehow Paul George was going to wind up going back to the Thunder, from what I was understanding. But I don't. I think it's too far gone to do something like that. I think you should just kind of, if you're going to punish anybody, it should be Kawhi and the Clippers. I'm going to start off with you, Ben. Obviously, threw this up here so you can get a kind of gist of what was going on, payment timeline, injuries, things of that nature. What are your thoughts on the whole Kawhi Leonard situation, Ben? How would you handle it if you're Dane,
Adam Silver,
of the NBA? Go ahead.
Unfortunately, everything is going to come down on Kawhi Leonard, because whatever happened to the Clippers, I mean, what you're going to find them? You're going to find some billionaires, a couple of mil. This is a very weird situation, because I think Kawhi was in a situation where he didn't know how to handle it. I mean, if the co-owner says, I'm fixing to go, the guy that pays me, or one of them, I'm going to go invest in a company to help you get your money. Most players are going to say, okay, are you going to invest in a company so I can get my money? Okay. But then you come to realize no one's going to say, wait, can you do that? Can you, no one's going to say, is it legal for you to invest in a company? Because when you invest in a company, that's not the Clippers that's paying me now. The check is going to have Clippers on it. But where the money come from, it makes Kawhi Leonard look like a gimmick when he isn't. Kawhi Leonard is the reason why we have, load management now. Like, he started it. He started over there with the Spurs. Kawhi Leonard is the reason why players go outside of the trainers to get a second opinion. He started that with the Spurs. Then he goes over 1 year with Toronto. They win the chip. The thing about Kawhi Leonard, when he is good, he is very good. But he misses a lot of games, and you don't know if it's because he's hurt or he's just, taking some time off. This right here is another reason why the perception is reality when it comes to pro sports. We don't know the full story, and it's not going to matter what really happens to Kawhi, because the Clippers ownership are going to move on. They can get rid of Kawhi and then start dumping everything on him, or they can just let the league come down on him. Kawhi got to answer questions. You're not going to talk to the owners. Adam Silver gets paid by the owners, so he ain't going to come down too hard because he wants to keep his. So it's when I saw it, I was like, wait, what? They invested in it. My thing is, either the Clippers are cheap or something more is going on. Their owner, right? He used to be it was over like Microsoft or something crazy. He has buku bucks, but they saying the co-owner. So you see how they're already throwing the minority owner under the bus, not the majority owner? I don't know. Kawhi Leonard has had an incredible career. When you make money in California, those checks aren't going to be as big because of the state tax. So I don't really know why it happened this way. I just hope that Kawhi isn't a bigger scapegoat than I think he's going to be. Because what else are they going to do? Adam Silver has to protect the interests of the owners and the NBA. Kawhi Leonard is a player who, let's face it, he hasn't been one of the face of the NBA for a long time. It's been some years since Toronto, and since him signing with the Clippers, I mean, I hate to say it, but the Clippers are the Brooklyn Nets of LA. They are. I mean, they are. They're not the Lakers. They're not the Dodgers. Right? So I hope it all works out for Kawhi. Kawhi seems to be a really, really good teammate, a really, really good dude. But if an owner comes to me and tells me, if the owner came to him, because if Kawhi knew nothing about this, he shouldn't get any type of fine. If I knew nothing about this, my name was being drugged. But if I did, but I didn't understand, then it's still gonna come down on him. This is called fine print, people. This is like when you sign a contract. The reason why your agent go through every part, you got to understand all of it. So this is just, I've never seen anything like this. Yeah. Billionaires, if the minority owner is a billionaire at all, invest in a company to pay him. Just got to wait and see, man. Adam Silver is if this is LeBron, it has to be swift. If this is Steph, it has to be swift. If this is, OKC, and it's the Clippers. It's Kawhi. It's a moment in time. They're gonna find him, and then it's gonna go back to them being the Mets, them being the Nets of LA. Because like I said, until the Clippers do anything significant, they're just the Clippers. And this is just another, thorn in the side of a team that's in a real nice city with no legacy, no tradition. And the Marcellus Wiley's of the world, we're talking about the Clippers in, the Clippers that. Stop it. Stop it. They had Blake Griffin, nothing. They've had a bunch of players now, nothing to show for us. So I hope Kawhi doesn't get drugged through the mud any more than he already has, because if he didn't know anything about it, they should just be talking to the owners. But what did Adam Silver do? Was he going to call the owners in for a meeting? No. So I think it's a very, very confusing situation and very peculiar at best.
Marvin, what are your thoughts, man? Obviously this is an ongoing thing, but like, how are you feeling on this?
It's a few things. I'm still trying to really grasp what this owner was trying to do. But let me just say this. Nothing should surprise you with what people at the highest level of industry are doing to make money, whether it's the right thing, wrong thing, illegal, immoral, whatever it may be. Nothing should surprise you about what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? With that said, it appears like, I don't know if he's trying to pay this guy, trying to pay Kawhi and avoid that number or that money being counted toward their cap or being identified by the league. I don't know if he's trying to pay him outside of that, because I have heard of that. I have heard of players in sports being compensated outside of what is public and known. That's a whole other thing, though. That could be here. I don't know. In regards to Kawhi and the games he's missed and what Ben was talking about earlier, look, I love the NBA. I am so happy, and I'm happy that these boys, these young men, grown men, are getting this money. But it's hard for me to know that Michael Jordan was making a fraction of what these guys are making, but Michael Jordan was giving you 82 games. He was giving you 82 games. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be honest. I do feel like this culturally, we become a little bit soft. I think that's impacted every industry. Pro sports is no different. And I think the NBA is a sport where you can be the majority of the salary cap. You could be the big money guy and sit out games, and it's normal and it is what it is. I think it's a horrible culture to establish. I think it's horrible for the game, for the sport, for the kids, for the fans, but it is what it is. In the NBA, these guys control the league. I mean, it's a players' league. So Kawhi and how he's sitting out, why he's sitting out, is he getting his money? Not. If it's based on that, that's all. It's just a horrible look. It's just a horrible look for the league. It's really the bottom line. It's a horrible look for the league that is so dependent upon young people looking at it, and they're trying to get younger fans. When you see this kind of stuff, it's terrible. It's trash. So I think there's a lot more out there. I don't feel comfortable with what they presented to say, I know what this is and what it looks like. It looks bad, and I think it's going to look worse as they go on. That's my take.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Ben on this one. I hope they don't use Kawhi as the scapegoat here, but I do agree with him with the fact that I don't think Adam Silver is going to bury the Clippers owner. You're not going to see a Dan Snyder situation where they run him out of ownership because of something like this. I think maybe a fine for both player and team. Maybe take a few picks away from him, but not anything. Not anything too damaging. Maybe take each of their next handful of seasons, their second round picks away from them. Not their full future, but like, hey, like you can't do things this way. Maybe even as far as maybe they can't sign any free agents one of the next handful of years or something. Do something to sit there and say, like, you can't go about this way. At the same time, not using the athlete alone as a scapegoat, because this clearly wasn't cooked up by Kawhi Leonard. When he went to the Clippers, his demands were way totally different. He wanted access to a jet. He wanted this player brought into the team. He wanted, just like, how a lot of these guys, they're trying to get ownership of teams and things like that. Those were things he was asking about, not to circumvent the cap to pay him what you say you're going to pay him. So, it's a messed up situation. I think this is something we'll figure out what's going on with it. But I'm also with you, Marvin. We're in a different age. These guys are different players, and the load management thing needs to go away. You're not. We watch these guys get crazy amount of money, and us as the fans part of it. You go and buy a handful of tickets for the family. You go to the game, and you're getting the bench and the sixth man playing in the game because of load management, or they just came off a road trip and this is a back-to-back. Those are things I don't want to hear about. We watched the Iron Men of sports play this game between Michael Jordan, Cal Ripken. We watch guys that play through a lot of stuff. So
Brett Favre,
hopefully that culture kind of finds its way out of the NBA. I don't know if it's when this era of superstars leave. That's another argument for another day. And speaking of arguments, let's get right into it, because Miss Reese over there in the in the Chicago Sky have been in the media going back and forth with each other. Angle Reese was suspended for a half a game due to her, contact detrimental to the team. She was holding the team accountable. She was calling out teammates, which I don't think is something you do in the media. That's something you do in private. She is then turned around, didn't play the other half of the game, and then sat out the rest of the season. Everyone's sitting there saying, league-wide, Chicago's the worst team. Chicago's not this. Listen. She's a part of that team. You're going to have to deal with what's going on. The rumor is right now is that she's trying to find her way out of Chicago and trying to force a trade or something like that. Now, what I want to ask you guys is, seeing what we're seeing and knowing how athlete team management thing goes like this, do we feel like we've seen the last of Angle Reese playing for the Chicago Sky moving forward? Ben, let's start with you on this one.
If we have the Chicago Sky, they fumbled this. This is on Chicago. Because here's the thing, right? What can Angle Reese really do at this point? If I say something, I'm a villain. If I don't say something, I don't care. If I speak about, because I think the thing about Angle Reese is she's saying, look, it's more pressure on her now because Caitlin Clark is out for the rest of the year. So you're not watching every team, so certain faces of it. She's the best player the Chicago Sky got, and she voiced her opinion. I think a lot of this probably happened because of what happens in the locker room behind closed doors, because Marvin can speak to this as well. Some of these coaches are very disrespectful, and some of these coaches don't have the resume that the players do. I respect your position as my head coach, even as my position coach, but that don't mean you're better at your job than me. And for Angle Reese came from LSU. I know she started at Maryland. This young lady only knows I'm trying to bring a winning, competitive mentality. That's why, and I'm not comparing her to this. Let me preface this. That's why everybody couldn't play with Kobe. They want to play with him until they meet him. Hey, dude, we don't play over here. What you mean? Dwight Howard had to come back to LA to play with LeBron to win it, because Kobe wasn't dealing with that nonsense. If you want competitiveness in the WNBA and you criticize some of your best players because of what they're saying, you got to ask, is what I'm saying wrong? Or you don't like the manner in which I said? Because I could be speaking truth, but you don't want to call each other out. What do coaches do every chance they get? They will call a player out quick by name, first name, middle name, nickname, talk about them, right? We're not used to players saying, wait a minute. Everything ain't unprofessional just because it sounds that way. It don't make it unprofessional because I said it out loud. Now, if somebody's asking me about Marvin and Steven, I know how to say something about you guys respectfully. Well, I also talk for a living. So I know everybody ain't seasoned behind in them interviews. But when frustration is high, meekness is low. Politeness is low, very low. And I think the thing about it is, what I heard when she's saying these things is, y'all don't know what I got to deal with, man, in the media. Most of these young ladies have never had to deal with scrutiny. I've been doing it since college. Now I'm doing it in the league. Now y'all want me to be the franchise player, but just walk around holding hands. What, don't she call herself the Barbie? Well, she ain't a Barbie when it comes to basketball. And once again, what Angel is saying, y'all messing with my money. That's what y'all doing. Y'all making people, first y'all say, I'm not good at rebound until I lead the WNBA in rebound. And then what? Then I don't even make the All-Star team. That's a whole nother conversation. You either want superstars and faces of the WNBA or you don't. And if one set of people are saying, don't say nothing, Angel, and another set of saying, you better say something, she got to pick. She got to pick which one she is. And if she's no longer in Chicago, there go that viewership, there go them fans, because they're going to follow her where she goes. You know what that means? And Steven, what this really is, you know what she's trying to go, right? She's trying to go to Indiana. That's what she's trying to go. Just
Listen,
put her over there.
If that happens, I'm gonna say this: if that happens, that's the ultimate anti-hero flip. She'd be like, you know what? F you guys. I'm gonna be a part of the biggest team in the next new. They're gonna build their own super team. It's gonna be like when LeBron was like, all right, let's go to Miami.
That moment was significant because how many young men now that when you watch National Signing Day in February or in December, they got early signing day. Watch how many young men say for the next 3 or 4 years, I'll be taking my talents. Because certain people understand. I mean, LeBron is the only free agent that had a freaking press conference. I mean, they just sitting there. He's just sitting there. I don't even know what those kids were in the background. Here we go now. Just wait. You know what I'm saying? Like no one, everybody else just signs. It's breaking news, right? Now with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are the first ever WNBA. They're not the first ever superstars. They're the first ever superstars that men watch, right? See, men ain't watching WNBA. People say, well, why not women being? Because women don't watch WNBA either. They don't watch it like they should. We're talking about Angel Reese on the fan at the end. That's how polarizing she is. And she knows it, which means I don't want to be Mike Trout. I don't want to be the best player on the worst team. I don't want that. Because then I look like a gimmick, even though I'm not, right? Mike Trout, baseball is the only sport to have the best player never win a World Series. That has never happened in no other sport. Mike won, LeBron won. You see, they won it. Mike Trout is going to end his career no World Series. Angel Reese is saying, dang, if they watch me a little bit in the regular season, if I go to the postseason, them numbers go up. Now more people watching me. I don't know. The Sky done messed this up because you painting her to be the villain. They're trying to paint her out and the WNBA's assistant. Well, when they say breaking news, she's going to the Indiana, Caitlin gonna be like this. Caitlin gonna be like this. This is what I want the whole time. Yeah, y'all thought we didn't like each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't. So, listen, the only two rivals that would have never played together was like Bird and Magic. They never gonna play with each other. Isaiah and Mike, they won't. We don't live in that world no more. They train with each other in all season.
Shade on Mike, man. Come on.
Isaiah's still shade
on Mike.
It's the fact that Isaiah Thomas to this day still answers questions why he wasn't on the dream team. And Mike is still saying it wasn't because of Mike. And Charles Barker said it was because of Mike. Mike said, if he's on it, I'm not. Like, we know what it is, right? Look at what happened when the Lakers met Isaiah and company in the finals. What happened to that friendship with Magic and Isaiah? They stopped talking for years. They just reconciled like a couple of years ago. I say that to say the WNBA needs Caitlin and Angel Reese rival. You need it. The problem is they don't play each other that much. They can't play each other every game. They can't do that. Mm-hmm. So now that there's no Caitlin, we go back to Angel. And Angel's like, look, man, my team is not good. They make bad decisions in the front office. We don't got good players. Oh, I'm not supposed. Oh, you're not the coach. You can't say that. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The one that plays can't say it. Sorry. That's what this really comes down to. But if she's no longer with Chicago, we know who the Chicago Sky is. You couldn't name every team in the WNBA for $1 million. You couldn't even do it. See what I'm saying? So until we can get to a point to where I can name you the teams and teams, mascots, and what the mascot looked like. I know the Chicago Sky. I think it's an elephant. I think it's a freaking elephant that's blue. I'm for real. So Angel, listen, young lady, keep doing what you're doing. She got her own shoe. She got Shaq behind her. Is she gonna bring back Reebok? I don't know. I mean, you can only do so much in this life, right? We'll see. But hope Chicago make a better decision.
Marvin, you think Angel's right in this situation, or the Chicago Scots fumbling this, and she gonna wind up somewhere else next year?
Yeah, I think Ben really hit all the major points on the head. I think for the most part, this is the WNBA growing. This is really this is what this is. This is them growing. And Bennett said that Angle Reese and Caitlin Clark weren't the first superstars, and he's right. But they're the first superstars in this post-NIL digital world. Their platforms are much bigger than the ladies who came before them, without question. And listen, they're on ESPN. The WNBA is on ESPN. Which means definitely that men are definitely watching. And you're seeing the superstars bud, come out. That they're budding, they're coming out and they're growing. And with the budding of new superstars is new superstar problems. They go to the media, they want more money, this and that. So these are good problems that are happening in Chicago. I think it's bad for the organization. I think the organization needs to do a better job of working with its superstar and getting the superstar under control and just building that relationship. The worst thing they could do is have her be in a situation where she's no longer there, because they're talking about her. She's what's relevant. She's what's relevant. So you want her in the building. You want her to be happy. You got to coach her out of that. You got to help her with that. You got to work with her because she is your star. And in that league that is still, trying to come out of the shadows, you want to have a star. You want to have a happy star. So this is on Chicago. I hope she's there in the future, and they should too.
My thoughts on this is it's like the Sagittarius in me. Like we know we right, but we just handle it the wrong way. And we just set the world on fire if it doesn't go the way we want. Listen. I'm thinking that's exactly what Angel said. Like, all right, I kept my mouth shut. I played the good soldier long enough. Something needs to change here. And they probably, I think what happened, there was a closed door meeting with the team and things happened in that. And then she got asked about it and she didn't hold her tongue. She's just like, listen, this is what it is. And they suspended her for it. And then she went and punished them even further. But like, I got a back issue. If I remember correctly, she got all the leverage on a jet somewhere dancing around, and her back looked good to me. So we all know what it is. I think it's unfortunate for the Chicago Sky that it went this way, but I think this time next year she's with another team.
They fumbled the bag. They fumbled the bag.
100%.
They fumbled it, and she's using. Angle Reese has advisors. Like, she got a team that can help her analyze stuff. So when people think she don't know what she's doing, she's very calculated. Yes, she does. Because they punch her, she's a counter puncher. Because once again, these are things that aren't told. Most players don't got leverage. Like Jay Williams of Duke, I be following him on IG, and he said something that people don't get. He goes, when Michael Jordan was in the NBA, people thought he had power. No, he didn't have power. He had influence. When he became an owner, now I got power. Power is the ability to hire and fight. So until you do that, you just got influence and you got leverage. Well, Angle Reese has influence and leverage. She got both. And she's trying to she never said, she's saying, look, I didn't say I don't want to be Chicago Sky. Y'all drafted me. I want to be here. But I'm not gonna keep taking all this. It's a lot of weight on her. I can't do anything. The medias make jokes about her. She's in, people be rapping about her. They talking about her. She just went to the Terrence Crawford Canelo fight. People had something to say. She can't do anything. She can't. What? If they talk about you, you must be doing. Hey, who is this Angle Reese lady? Who is this? Who is this? Chicago Sky. Let's go check them attendance numbers. Let's go check them concessions, that parking. Let's go check merchandise. So everything's up. So she's good for business. just don't say nothing. Now those days, I'm telling you, look, I'm not the biggest fan of Jay-Z, even though I like his music. Jay-Z was doing a freestyle one time, and during he said it. He said, you know, people die for equal pay, right? You know, when I work, I'm not your slave, right? We ain't shucking and jiving and high-fiving. You know this ain't back in the day, right? This ain't back in the day. And certain people want to be, it is not, and it's not coming back. So when Marvin Powell Sr. gets voted in, and Marvin Powell III is on that stage, when he said, I need a minute, I'm going to say it. Somebody to have a sign. Big old, say it, Marvin. Because sometimes I'm speaking for more than just me. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Marvin. You know.
No,
Go ahead, Angel. Go ahead, Angel.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people don't know how tall she is in person. People meet her in person, they go, "You 6'4"? Yeah,
she a real.
She's up there. You know what I'm saying? She's tall.
She's a giant baby giraffe, and you know, I love the energy she brings. You know, me and Ben talked about it before. We're not one of these Caitlin Clark, you know, pom pushers. You know, Angel plays her part. She has a part in the growth and what the WNBA is. I hope whatever happens smooth quickly and it's good for all sides. But want to move on one more topic before we get into some football and we start having some fun. Big news came out this week that Molly Kerm is leaving ESPN after 19 years with ESPN. And, you know, we've been seeing a exodus of the female on-air talent from the podcast world, the major show media world. You know, Molly made a statement. You know, now the news came out earlier. I intended, it's not intended the way I hoped, to my first take family. After much reflection, decided to close this incredible chapter. Stepped away from first take. Hosting the show has been one of the greatest honors in my career. Every morning, I had the privilege of sharing the desk with some of the most brilliant, passionate, and entertaining voices in the world of sports, and with all of you, the best fans in the world. I'm grateful for this journey life has given me, lifelong friendship, unforgettable memories, and the chance to be part of something truly special from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for welcoming me into your home. Stay tuned. With all my love and gratitude, Molly. Now, Stephen A. Smith has, made his comments on this. Obviously, we've been losing the female voice from, ESPN, FS1. It's been a mass leaving, if you ask me. All our female voices are going to be changing. I don't know if they're looking to bring in more talent. However that happens. Start on Marvin on this one. What are your thoughts? 19 years. Molly Kerm has been, a staple on ESPN. May not be everyone's favorite. What are your thoughts on her leaving first take?
Molly has become a staple. You turn the TV on and you get used to watching her and get used to seeing her. At the end of the day, I've never really been a huge Molly fan in regards to what she brings to the show. I think we live in an age, and I think it's been around where, sex sells. And I think that has a lot to do with, what's happening with that TV product. But, I think her and Stephen A. Has some drama, which is, listen, you work with somebody for 20 years, you're going to butt heads and have issues. But, after, even with that whole Joy Taylor thing, you heard a lot of things about Molly in the back and then her marriage to Jalen Rose and, what was happening in that workplace. I don't know. To me, it seems like there's a lot of drama over there. To me, it seems like part of that was a toxic situation, and there was a lot of just negativity from what I can see, and just from what I'm looking at when I'm watching some of these people give their accounts. Next, that's really how I look at her. The talent was Stephen A. The talent were the guests that came on there with them. That's the commentary I wanted to hear. That's the story I wanted to hear. Molly really didn't do a lot for me, to be honest with you. And I don't think they're gonna have a tough time replacing somebody if they're looking to fill that role again. just trying to mix it up with the men and the idea of sex sales. I think that's a dime a dozen. I think there's a lot of talent out there. So we'll see what they do with it.
Ben, your thoughts, Molly?
Man, number one, I didn't know she was up for 19 years, dude. I didn't know she had put that many years in. I will say this though about Molly is, the role of the commentator. You're in between. You're trying to, you open up the show, you take them out of breaks. You trying to keep the guys at bay. I think for Molly, if it wasn't for the controversy, because as you mentioned, the Jalen Rose, talk about the situation with Stephen A. and all these different things. Molly had an incredible run. I think whoever comes in next is going to have to be able to take it to the next step. But here's the thing, and no one wants to talk about it. It's not like she's not an attractive woman. That's not her fault. But until it gets away from, quote, the super duper attractive lady, because all the shows have done it. Every show does. So it's a very easy theme that we're seeing. Malika Andrews, we've seen them. And that we're not mad at them. But you could tell that men are making these decisions. You know this. So Molly gave you 19 years. She probably a lot of people are moving on to doing something different. She's gonna definitely land on her feet, and she's walking away on her own terms. It's like when you push out the door for something controversial, people don't really want to touch you. But she's walking away on her own terms. Stephen A. Smith gonna give his blessing to help her because, like I said, I guarantee y'all she's gonna have a podcast if she ain't already got one. Because this is the new lane. And something that Marvin's been talking about, been alluding to, people don't like having bosses. Like, people get sick of that. Because the boss don't want to just pay you or her. They want to tell you what to say and do. Listen, man, our names is Marvin, Steven, and Benjamin, not Pinocchio. Like, people get tired of being on the string. Hey, man, when you said this, you say it. When you did, you do it. No. So sometimes you say, look, ESPN gave me checks for 19 years. What can I do over here? What can I build up? So say what you want to say about the Shannon Sharp of the world. He's still going strong with Club Shay Shay and Nightcap. Now he got Daycap. And he writes checks to those people. So if somebody paid me for 19 years, I've been on TV. If I can't find a way to parlay that thing, I don't know what I was doing with my life for 19 years. I'm in these meetings to see how they really talk, how they really move. Did I really want to play golf? No, but that's what business has done. Did I really want to go to these, budget meetings? No. Oh, okay, that's what she's doing. I'm not saying she's going to venture off and do another ESPN, but you are seeing more people that was on television walk away and do their own thing than any time you've ever seen in life because they know I'm not going to make what I was making, but if I'm controlling how I make it, I can deal with that. Because, once again, Stephen A. is the talent. I don't care who comes on First Take, whether it's Max Kellerman, Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless, Akeem Talib, anyone. It's Stephen A. And Stephen A. knows that too because he's executive producer. So, Molly, congratulations. If you want to come air ESPN out, you can come on the Fan in the End. Come on. You can say what you want to say. Equal opportunities over here. But no, we wish them the best, man. It's always good to walk away on your own terms. Because we always think, okay, what a punchline? What happened? Because it's not like an FS1. They got rid of everybody. You know what? We just going to clear house. Everybody. Joy, LaShawn McCoy, everybody. Sam, what is Emmanuel Acho doing right now? Oh, he's trying to do a nightcap show. It's called Speak Easy, right? I'm giving him some free pub. I don't mind. Emmanuel cool. People are trying to do what's already been done. But you better be as good as the ones who originated. Because if you ain't as good, people are going to say, That's why you got to start your own before you try to mimic somebody else. Because if you can't mimic what they say, cameras ain't going to help you, baby. Production cannot help you. And I done told a bunch of people that. You think because your camera costs you $100K, right? And mine is on a laptop, you think you sound better than me, Marvin, and Steven? Try us then. I tell, and this is not competition. You got to say something we can't. You got to know something we don't, and you got to deliver the way we can. You can't do none of those. And we can talk, we can go baseball, WNBA, football, life. You can barely talk, the AFC South. Stop it. I'm just telling you. So, congratulations, though, man.
We'll just brought up the AFC South because that's a perfect segue into what we're going to be talking about next. Because the Jacksonville Jaguars did make some headlines this week. As FanDuel has agreed to pay them approximately $5 million to compensate for the nearly $20 million of former Jaguars employees stole from the team and deposited into FanDuel. Per ESPN, the NFL encouraged the Jaguars and FanDuel, a league partner, to reach a resolution. Did not actively participate in the talks, but obviously, they found some common ground. I believe they're, at this point in time, that there's obviously some language involved there to protect teams from falling into the same situation. But I guarantee you, what it came down to is that Jacksonville wasn't putting FanDuel anything in their stadium after what the employee did, and obviously FanDuel wasn't paying them back that amount of money. $5 million out of a $20 million bill is tax worthy. I guess that's a tax write off right there. They're not really paying anything into that. But interesting thing to see that FanDuel and Jacksonville was kind of involved in some type of legal entanglement, and the league stepped in and kind of encouraged them to kind of talk it out and find some type of agreement. Let's start off with Marvin on this. Is this one of the weirdest news that you heard of this year so far?
Well, I mean, first things first. Just think about how much money these teams are making. That an employee can take $20 million, over how long? Because this was over a period of time before anybody realizes, hey, we missing $1 million, we missing $2 million, we missing $5 million. You know what I'm saying? That's unbelievable. And I'm telling you like this, FanDuel, obviously, they want to bring in the court here, but I hate for FanDuel they have to give up anything. You know what I'm saying? They didn't steal the money, right? They didn't take any money, right? But giving up $5 million on $20 million is a pretty good deal considering how this thing can really go for them. But I think the entire story is insane. That this employee, but again, happens every day. That the NFL, the Jacksonville Jaguars are just one of many teams worth so much money. People are at the highest level of all these corporations in the industry are doing this, and we're just seeing it, here with the NFL. Unbelievable amount of money, crazy story, and guess what? Doesn't skip a beat. We keep going, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like they ain't shutting down the Jaguars, they ain't shutting down too much money being made. Seriously, too much money being made to even care, right? Like you don't hear anything crazy happening. So crazy story, crazy times, and money makes people do crazy things.
Absolutely. Ben, your thoughts on this?
I agree with Marvin. The Jaguars doing good, ain't it? Somebody stole $20 million. And they probably been stole the 20, right? They probably been stole the 20. The Jaguars been saying, "Hey man, don't put this article out." All right, go ahead and put it out. FanDuel was like, "Dude, why we got to get caught up in this?" But FanDuel is paying for reputation. Hey, right. Dude, we got to make it look like we had nothing. Think about that for a second. I don't want we got big by being the official, betting source with the league. We can ill afford. And somebody says, but we didn't do anything. It's a guilty by affiliation. Yep. I don't even know the dude. We don't even know the guy. You notice we hearing everything about but the person that took the money, because the person that took the money is still not a big enough name. He's not a head coach, position coach, none of that, not a player. But FanDuel is saying, you know what, man? Sometimes you get to know you made it in a different way. Sometimes you got to pay to stay. You get paid to play. I got to pay to stay around. And people going, dang, FanDuel doing it like that? Yeah. Yes. But FanDuel also realized, man, everybody know y'all. So, yeah, the Jacksonville Jaguars in the last 5 years have had Urban Meyer, Chris Doyle, Tim Tebow. You know what I'm saying? You're firing Doug Peterson, and now you got FanDuel. Let me tell you what the Jaguars better be very, very careful of, because this is the same owner that wanted to be the London Jaguar. He wants them to be an international team.
Yeah, he does.
You see how many international games we got now? We starting the season off with them.
Mm-hmm.
So when people go, ain't no way they can do that. Why not? Why can't you have an international team? Why not? All I'm saying is, if the Jaguars or just a team in the NFL, not one of the premier teams, they're going to start saying, hey, man, there's a lot of stuff going on in the States. Yeah, but overseas, we don't got to worry about all that. Just keep making money. When I saw this, when you sent this, Steven, I was like, dude, don't think that if somebody's stealing on the staff with Jacksonville, you know they're stealing on the staff in other places. It just because once I realized, dang, they won't even figure it out. When I first got drafted, I had my second year, I got financial people. And it was called Covenant Partners. Shout out to Covenant Partners up there in Nashville, Tennessee. They said, Ben, we know the reason why you kind of hesitant is, will we steal from you? You know what they said? You don't make enough. We got billionaire clients. We could steal from them and they wouldn't even know. Let me tell you something. That's when you doing it. You could steal from me and I wouldn't even feel it. No. It would cost them more in legal fees to get their money back than to worry about what's getting stuff. And I'm like, well, who is this person? I might be in the wrong business. Who is this? Like, God dang, y'all don't got to make my money sound like that. Dang, so basically in the National Football League, Mr. Khan, the owner of the Jags, he sends out a lot of checks. He don't even know all of his employees. He walks around the stadium, the parking, the merchandise, he don't even know. Somebody said, hey man, they stole $20 million. Really? He stole $20 million? That's crazy. That wasn't even, they kept eating their food, so hey man, it's the league, and that young man, whoever did it, they got away with it. So they thought, they said, dude, they caught you. And the reason why people say, why would he get the $20 million? He did 100,000, no one said anything. Then 200, 300, 400. Hey man, ain't nobody saying nothing. And for those people that say, I would do that, you don't know what you would do if you had access. I'm going to say that again. You had access to something. And you tell your lady, I'm going to send it to the account right now. Look, boom. This thing said 100K. Yeah. And now she looking. Now the lifestyle is going this way. Forgot all about this ain't my money. Hello. You know what I'm saying? You getting stuff from the bank saying, hey, dude, I thought you said you make $50,000 a year. Yeah. You got $250,000 in your account. So, yeah, business is booming, man. Business is booming when I can steal 20 and the person and the organization that had nothing to do got to pay some of it back. Mr. Khan, listen, we ain't got 20, but we'll give you 5. All right, cool. I'll put that in the chat.
I'm gonna save face on this one and at least get something back out of it. But listen, it's a bad look for Jacksonville. It's even worse that the league had to kind of step in, and I'll say it again. I think it had to do with the fact that there's advertisement and things like that involved in, as why the league stepped in and kind of put these two at the table to get this thing resolved. But again, one of the early season crazy stories of the year, in my opinion. But we're already in week 2, and we already got quarterbacks going down. Brock Purdy's got a turf toe. He's going to be missing a handful of games. We just got the announcement that Joe Burrow is going to be out 3 months with his turf toe injury. And the rumors are running around is sitting there saying, is Joe Burrow Andrew Luck now? Because he's gotten multiple different injuries over the past 5-6 years now, missing half the seasons with this. I think it's we already know how we feel about the Cincinnati Bengals here in the fan, and they're probably one of the worst run organizations in the National Football League. They mismanage everything. How do you pay 3 guys, somewhere in the range of $400 million, and you don't protect the guy that's almost pulling in 300? How do you not protect Joe Burrow at this point in time? How is that not your chief concern at this time? He is at least half the reason why people show up in that stadium is to watch Joe Cool play football, right? Okay, so let's protect them. Let's not sit there. And now if you're the Cincinnati Bengals, what do? You gonna run with the kid behind them? Are you gonna make a move? Because 3 months is the rest of the season, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
They're in a spot. I'm not gonna put Joe Burrow into that Andrew Luck conversation yet. Andrew had multiple different things, concussions, knee injuries, shoulder injuries, things like that. It's not looking good, as this is now what the 2 out of the last 3 years Joe's had injuries that knocked him out, if not for the whole season, a good portion of the season. So I would say bad luck, bad team, but Joe Burrow injury. But Marvin, let's start off with you, brother.
What I think about is this. I think that, Joe Burrow, to me, is an elite quarterback. And I feel like the guy they had before him, Carson Palmer, at his highest point was the same way. And you saw Carson go, 10 plus years in Cincinnati playing at a high level, no Super Bowl, right? Nothing. This is just a wasted opportunity in a league that requires that you have a quarterback to be successful. And now you have Joe Burrow. And, you feel like Cincinnati's going on the same path. You got an elite quarterback, but I don't know that we're going to get a Super Bowl out of this, And you hear a lot about the Bengals and are they doing enough to protect him? Look, they paid his receivers. That's great. I didn't see the injury itself. Actually, I did see the injury, but I saw the replay. But you wonder, are they doing enough around him in the middle to protect him? I don't know. But to have this guy be what he is, what he's been, and to not get a Super Bowl out of it's going to be a problem. If he can't play, they're in trouble. You got all that money on the outside. You coming in there with Browning, who played, was good in college. I remember him at Washington, and he played well as a backup already in his short time in the NFL. But this isn't the guy that's going to lead you to the Super Bowl. And going into this season, the Bengals were a team that, for all the money they're paying out and for the stars they have, they should be thinking and looking towards Super Bowl, deep playoff runs. That's not realistic now without your quarterback, and how does that impact, the rest of that team? They know Joe's the guy. They know that, Jamar Chase is the guy. They know T. Higgins is the guy. But if the quarterback ain't there, if Joe ain't there to give him the ball, if he ain't there to lead your team, what do you got? So I think this is demoralizing for the Bengals. I think it's demoralizing for the players. I think for the ownership group, because if he's out 3 months, then now we're talking about 2026. This season's a wrap, and with all the money vested and all the drama and all the hype that's come with all this, it's all for nothing for this year, and you wonder, and maybe it's too soon for this, or it probably is too soon, but you wonder at some point, if they start looking at some of those assets a little bit differently. I don't know, but with all the money invested, they need to win games. And with Joe Burrow out, they're not going to win enough games to be relevant.
Ben, your thoughts on Burrow's injury?
I looked up the most sacked quarterback since 2020 when Joe Burrow got drafted. He's number 2, only behind Russell Wilson. He's been sacked 201 times, and that's currently. That's as of current right now, 2025. I also looked up, I went to Wikipedia. I said, I want to know a little bit about the Joe Burrow guy. He's 2-time comeback player of the year. He's had to come back twice already. And people always talk about Tom Brady this and Tom Brady that. Tom Brady, he got sacked a bunch, but Tom Brady had guys in front of him to protect him. I remember this is the same Joe Burrow that went to the Super Bowl that had the worst offensive line in football when they went. They had the worst. I don't care who you got under center. If you can't protect them, they're not going to be there for you. Because if I'm used to getting hit, I'm gonna have to overcompensate. I'm gonna have to compromise and sacrifice a lot. I'm gonna have to try to get outside the pocket. I'm always trying to make plays because I can't just sit in the pocket because my offensive line won't hold up. If you don't protect the franchise, don't buy the car. Period. What's the use of having this nice whip if you only show it in the garage? And it's not in the garage at your house. No, it's at the mechanic's garage. Man, why this thing always in the shop? And every time I put it on the road, something happened. Every time. All this money you paid for this? But I'm driving up, in my regular, and I never see your spectacular car. Because I think the thing about Cincinnati is treating a Joe Burrow how Green Bay, would treat like, a guy like Aaron Rodgers in his prime. Hey, but I think he's good enough. Good enough to what? Block and throw? No, you got to block these dudes because the wear and tear of a player will decide his career. The only reason we was watching Cincinnati before because they had Carson Palmer, they had Chad Johnson, they had T.J. Houshmandzadeh, they had Rudy Johnson. Now we watch them because of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. No Joe Burrow. Browning. That's who y'all gonna look, because a GM job is to make sure that when my quarterback gets hurt, whether it's Nick or not, we keep it on the track. Keep it on the track. Who was that? What's up, Eddie? So all I'm saying is the Cincinnati Bengals don't care about their franchise because they don't protect it. That's like, oh, hey man, you got this nice car, you gonna put an alarm on it? No, I'm good. What? You're not gonna protect this? Nah. Ain't nobody gonna steal this. You sure? They stole AJ Brown's car in Philly. Now they gave it back, but they did steal it. They stole it. Yeah. Joe Burrow and Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, their house got broken into. Their houses got broken into. Out of all the I'm not saying anybody should get broken into. But of all the houses, I mean, I think you're gonna know Joe Burrow's house when you see it, or even in the neighborhood that he's in. So it's Cincinnati. Browning is a solid backup who has won games, but the problem is, Eddie, you play 17 games, so he can win 7 of them, and you win 7 and 10. Right? He won 7 of them. We went 7 and 10 outside looking in. Browning wants Joe Burrow to be healthy as much as he wants to play. Because everybody wants to play, but Browning ain't Kurt Warner, is it? I remember Mark Bolger went down with the Rams, and that's when the greatest show on turf happened. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying he finna be that, right? So if you are Cincinnati, Joe Burrow for Cincinnati is what Cam Newton was for Carolina. It's the only reason you watched them. You didn't have no other reason, and you take that away, that means that Jamar Chase gonna get 20 targets a game. He gonna have 15 catches for 188 yards, 2 touchdowns, and they gonna lose 28-14.
And that goes back to our stats ain't everything in football conversation. When we're to get to that one in a second, and Eddie's got one more point on this. The Bengals tried drafting on linemen. Unfortunately, guys like Jackson, Kamara, and linemen from Alabama, they took in the first round, turned into bust. So, listen, but that goes back to what we've been talking about, Eddie, that this is just a bad organization. They make bad decisions. They pay too much for some of the guys they have, but don't want to beat too much on the Cincinnati drum. We got a couple other topics we're going to have to go through here over the next half hour. And, I got to bring it up. He was my boy here in Philadelphia when they drafted him. Carson Wentz is now about to be the first player in NFL history to start for 6 different teams in 6 different years. I don't think anyone would ever imagine, him being the second overall pick. I think it was 2016 now, right? That in 6 years he would have played for 6 different teams and started for 6 different teams during that period of time. I think is one of those things you call a dubious achievement. But I think the silver lining of it is we'll finally get to see what Carson Wentz looks like throwing balls to Justin Jefferson now. We're living a microcosm of a world now. We're going to see that this coming week when Cincinnati and Minnesota face off in week 3. We're going to have 2 backup quarterbacks. Obviously, Carson was a former number 1 overall pick. Different look and feel for them. But let's start off with Ben here. Carson Wentz's journey has definitely been one of the strangest stories over the last 6-7 years. Correct?
It has, and I think sometimes we look at where a player gets drafted and we think that they're going to be a franchise player for the team that drafted them. And Philadelphia attempted to do that. Carson Wentz is not a Philadelphia Eagle because he became bad for business and bad for the locker room. I mean, we got to get you out of here. Jalen Hurts actually helped that the most. Nick Foles started it. But the Sam Darnold effect is real.
Eddie. His injuries didn't derail his career. His forcing the Eagles to change the offense that Nick Foles ran and was basically specifically just targeting Zach Ertz. go listen to interviews that Darren Sproles have done about that time. Go listen to Miles Austin talk about it when he was brought in. How Carson Wentz was here in Philadelphia. He derailed his own career in Philadelphia with his way of going about things. Where his career is right now is completely of his own doing. He let things get in the way of that. But go ahead, finish your point, Ben. I'm sorry.
No, I'm going to say, too, look, availability is the greatest thing you have, the greatest ability you have when you talk about the National Football League, with durability coming right behind it. Carson Wentz is getting another opportunity. Sam Darnold showed the whole NFL last year. You put me in the right situation, man, and anything could happen. If you are Minnesota, they looking at Carson like, let's go. Like, look, week 3, well, you got the weapons. You talk about Anderson, you talk about Justin Jefferson, you talk about, that defense, you talk about. Yeah, so I think for a Carson Wentz, you were saying this is my opportunity to, 1, go show a team I still have franchise quarterback ability, and 2, I could be counted on. Because when people start talking about how rare it is to play in the National Football League, Carson Wentz is a reason for that. People are like, how does he? Because he still can provide value. What kind of value? We about to see. Because no one's going to care how many journeys you've been on. What are you doing now? Because Sam Darnold was the laughing stock of the Jets when he was talking about seeing ghosts, and it just didn't work out. And it happens. It happens. Then he was a journeyman. Goes to Minnesota. JJ gets hurt. The rest, now he's in Seattle, beating Pittsburgh with Aaron Rodgers on the other side. So anything can happen. If you are Carson Wentz, I think for him it's about reputation now, because what happened in Philly was ugly. Like, he had an ugly exit. It was not good, and he's been on other teams since then. We'll see what happens, because of what Sam Darnold did in 2024, that becomes the barometer in 2025 when because they could have went and got anybody. They say, hey, who can help us still compete in the AFC North? I mean, we still got 15 games left. So I'm rooting for Carson, and like I said, it don't always work. Everybody that drafts you ain't going to be the team you end up with. Baker Mayfield was a journeyman. He landed in Tampa. Look at what's it now. People talking about, is he a top 5 quarterback?
Jim Plunkett.
Yeah, so, exactly. So I think that for a Carson Wentz, you either are ready for this opportunity, or listen, people that don't like you ain't gonna like you no matter what you do. There ain't nothing you can do to appease those people. But Minnesota says, we don't care who like you. We like you. We want you to come in and help us win. If you can't find a way to get the ball to Anderson and Jefferson, you're in the wrong business, young man. You can't find a way to get them to rock, you're in the wrong. I don't care who the coordinator is, but it will be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Because we get so caught up in these big name players that we forget, man, I need somebody who is efficient. I will pay for efficiency before I pay for a big name anytime, because a big name is a big name, but it don't matter if you ain't winning or keeping us ahead of the chains. Can you help us win? Yes, prove it. Because the NFL is the greatest proven league. Because if you did it last week, can you do it this week? If you didn't do it last week, can you do it? So let's see if Carson can go out there and get it done. And Carson knows this, though. If I go out there and ball, all that other stuff goes away. People just forget about all the negative if you just give them something to go off. So it's going to be interesting. We got Minnesota and Cincinnati. These quarterbacks going down like flies. All of them. I mean, it's a bunch of them. Purdy, Jada Daniels, Joe Burrow, J.J. McCartney. The National Football League is not about if you can hurt his win and how long. And if somebody says, yeah, Joe Burrow only going to be out for 3 months. Well, the season's only 3 months more long. People are like, oh, for real? Yeah. Like, this is the fall. Well, I think the fall about to start. So.
All right, Marvin, your thoughts on Carson here? What are your thoughts? 6 teams, 6 years. Is this the one that's gonna put? Is this the season he's gonna put all the pieces back together?
Look, Jamarcus Russell was the number 1 pick in the draft, right? Tom Brady, 5th round draft pick. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, right? Then my man Jake Delhomme wasn't even drafted, but led a team to the Super Bowl. When you draft these quarterbacks, you don't know what you're gonna get. It's literally like a box of chocolates. I don't care how much Ryan Leaf, I don't care how much research is, you don't know what you're gonna get. And you don't know if he's gonna be a journeyman, a franchise quarterback, or a bust. You don't know. With Carson Wentz right now, he's a journeyman. He's on that Baker Mayfield path. multiple teams. He's starting. Apparently, he's a good quarterback, or good enough that people are calling him in a crisis situation, because Minnesota is in somewhat of a crisis right now. All right, and this is who they're choosing. I think the fact that he's the one being called says a lot about him. The fact that a team wants him to come in there and still start for them says a lot about him. People are still curious. The questions are still out. Maybe this coach can fix him. Maybe this coach is the coach that gets him to the next level. That's kind of the conversation with this guy. So it's and then it tells you how hard it is to play quarterback in this league, because you would think after one opportunity, after second opportunity, after your third opportunity, no one's going to call you anymore. But again, it's tough to play in this league, man. And these coaches, they want people who are competent, people who have experience, people who have done it, and that's where he falls into that. So, listen, congratulations to him for having a job. Good luck to him. I hope that this is his second win, and I hope this is his Tampa Bay Buccaneer Baker Mayfield experience.
Yeah, we're going to get to Baker in a minute too, because obviously Eddie was just talking about Daniel Jones not being kept there in Minnesota. But speaking of Daniel Jones, I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. There was two wild finishes last week. Obviously, with the Giants and Cowboys finishing with basically 41 points being scored in the fourth quarter, it going into overtime. Dallas kind of squeaking one out, and then obviously what happened down there in Indianapolis. They missed the game-winning field goal. There was an over-top penalty. They re-kicked the field goal, and Indianapolis wins the game. Daniel Jones is now 2-0. Me and Ben talked about this. We thought Daniel Jones could potentially have new life, but it's crazy how you leave the New York Giants and you start revitalizing your career. It's this crazy thing. But out of Giants, Cowboys, Colts, Broncos, which one do you think was the wildest or craziest ending? Was it the double field goal, the miss, and then the win? Or what was it the fact that the Cowboys and Giants accounted for what equates to what was it 44 points in the last quarter in overtime? Which one was the wildest for you? Let's start off with Marvin.
I'm gonna have to go Giants and Cowboys. I do a knockout pool. And we had picked Dallas. Me and I partner with the guy. We picked Dallas to win that game. And with 30 seconds to go in the game, the Giants were winning. Russell Wilson had 450 yards passing at that point and 3 touchdowns. I cut it off, upset, because I thought the Giants were about to win and I was going to lose my knockout pool. Just to find out 20 minutes after I cut it off, that the Cowboys come back and win that game. That by far was the craziest of the two. And I tell you what, the Cowboys needed that. And the Giants, poor New York Giants, because they put out a serious performance. They did, and they couldn't get a win in Dallas. So they in trouble. But
you got to think about it. We were really hard on Russell Wilson last week, right here on this very show. We were talking about he needs to start worrying about grooming Jackson Dart and things of that nature. And he's like,
and he put up numbers.
Guys, I'm not done yet. You got to feel bad for Malik Neighbors and Russell Wilson. They thought they had that game in tow. For whatever reason, the New York Giants were playing prevent, knowing the fact that you probably have the best kicker in football down there in Dallas right now. He's almost automatic, from 60 plus at this point in time, which is a hard thing to do in the NFL. So, I think that it's a heartbreaking thing for being a Giants fan. You're absolutely right. The Cowboys absolutely needed that one. So, we'll see what happens moving forward. But, Ben, your thoughts on it? Was the Colts game the craziest, or was the Cowboys game the craziest?
Man, I would lean towards Denver and Indy for this reason. This game looked like Denver had it a lot during the game, and Daniel Jones and company, they just kept coming back. If you are Denver, It's the smallest things why you lose. It'll come down to something that coaching have talked about, and the refs was it tic-tacky. Somebody did he had to call it once they missed, and I didn't see Sean Payton run off the sideline. I'm like, what? We got and we got laundry on the field. 15 yards. It was. I mean, don't get it twisted. Dallas and New York. That game was nuts. That it showed me two things. This pass rush of the New York Football Giants. I guess. I mean, Thibodeau and Burns and right now Abdul Carter's on the milk carton. People kept telling him it's a different league, man. You're a good player for Penn State. It's a different league. Dak Prescott is as good as you need a quarterback to be without a defense. Dallas does not have a defense. I don't want to hear about Javon Diggs anymore. I don't want to hear about what he could have done or what he did before. But when I'm watching Denver and Indy, I'm seeing an Indy team that's saying, dude, let's just pick them apart. Just keep playing. And they find a way to get it done. They loving Daniel Jones right now. Loving him. Because a 2-0 start with a Houston team that's 0-2, we don't know what type of team they got. But both games was incredible. Yeah. The greatest moon ball you ever seen thrown is Russell. I don't know how he get that thing to just drop out the air like that. It is, and I'm happy for Russell Wilson for this reason. Russell has said, I can still play football. Dang, y'all, because of Denver and Pittsburgh, people think I can't play. I'm not the player I used to be. No one is. But I can still go out there 450 and you lose.
Well, that's what we talk about all the time on here, and we're gonna get to that stat stuff again. Man, all them touchdowns, all them yards, it means nothing if you lose the game. It means nothing unless you're setting NFL records. It means absolutely nothing, and I guarantee you, a lot of those guys who set records and lose those games, they'll tell you that they would take 100 less yards, they would take 2 less touchdowns for their team to win that game. And I want to get into the Eagles-Chiefs matchup for a couple different reasons. First off, it's official. Eagles are must-see TV now. They're must-see TV. 33.8 million viewers. They set records in week 1 against Dallas. They set records again last week. Best ever regular season Sunday evening telecast for Fox Sports. Most watched NFL week 2 telecast in records since they started keeping these stats. Most watched September October game ever. Most watched telecast of any kind since the Super Bowl. And the fact that right now, we already talk about the growth in the NFL. Viewership is up 21% over last year at the same time. 21%. That's a stuff that it makes you just scratch your head and be like, NFL can almost get away with anything at this point in time. So first off, bravo to the Chiefs and Eagles on setting that record. You can't have one without the other. So let's be clear here. A couple things I want to get into about this game. Obviously it's still week 2. There's still a whole lot of things that got to be fixed. I remember before the season, everyone telling us that the Eagles are going to be 1-3 after 4 weeks in the season. Well, we're 2-0 at this point in time. Haven't played our best football. Offenses look stagnant. Everyone's over here asking for Kevin Patullo, asking what he's doing. Do you remember the first 6 weeks of the Eagles last year? Because it wasn't a whole lot of fun to watch offensively wise. But one thing's for sure. Both the defenses showed up last Sunday. Kansas City defense played their hats off. Eagles defense played their hats off. And one comment got me really going. Obviously, you do the post-mortem on the get up shows and all that, and they had Adam Schefter on there and was basically equating this loss to the Chiefs to the Eagles tush push play not being banned. Everyone's talking about this play right now. Listen. The Kansas City Chiefs left 17 points on the field. 17 points. The interception that got returned, obviously, was a 7-point switch either way, right? Travis Kelce catches that. It's a totally different game. the series before that, if Patrick Mahomes doesn't overthrow his receiver by 20 yards, that's a touchdown there as well. You had your kicker, he missed a field goal. There's another there's points there as well. When you leave 17 points on the field against a good team, they're gonna make you pay for it. I don't want to hear that the tush push is the reason why. Everyone's sitting there complaining about that. Let me bring this one up right here. Everyone's showing the top view, right? This is the side view. There's 3 Kansas City Chiefs players in the neutral zone. Everyone's sitting there. Oh, the Eagles were false starting. They were false starting. Well, both sides were not being called for penalties, and this is one of them. And this is one that was getting called multiple times over the last few years. The defense lining up in the neutral zone. Then you have the NFL official basically sitting there saying that he's done with this. He can't fathom how the referees are calling this, that, and the third. Listen. I love the NFL, but sometimes you got to do better. You have to do better officiating games. We're hard on them about a lot of things, but having Dean sit there and say that he's basically done with it is a rough thing to have on air. But also, I thought it was funny. I don't know if you guys seen this, that anytime the fans were putting up the side angle, the Eagles going offsides, for whatever reason, it was being pulled from all social medias. The NFL kept pulling that video down. But I'm not one for sitting there saying that this game was decided in March, when the fact that you leave 17 points on the field. It was a fun game. It was, you had two of the best teams in the NFL going head to head. It was Kansas City's home opener. It was a tough game. So I want to start with Ben on this one for a couple things. Obviously, they set records. Do you feel that Adam Schefter is right that this game was decided in March, and that the tush pushes was the end all be all, the reason for this game? Or do you feel that Kansas City lost it by leaving the points on the field?
I believe that Kansas City lost by leaving points on the board, and I believe that the Kansas City don't want to get into a game like this with a Philadelphia Eagle team that doesn't care how it looks. They just want to win. Like, Jalen Hurts is the ultimate don't care about stats guy. I just want to win. And yeah, it's a mentality portion of it. I mean, I know they got it. I know they got the hot mics with Chris Jones trying to tell Saquon you ain't even get 100 yards, and Jalen was like, "Shut the F up. We won the game." It's like when you're saying things when the game is over, that's the ultimate. Like the trash talking. If I'm in victory formation, it's a wrap. Like if you're trying to say you didn't even get 100, well, that was still enough to beat y'all.
Yeah.
And I think the thing about Kansas City, I'm not saying it's over. I think as long as you got Patrick Mahomes, it's not over. But Patrick Mahomes is starting to realize, dude, I'm not as super when we're not winning. When you winning, a lot of stuff works and a lot of stuff is allowed because throwing back across your body, no look passes, improvise. Travis Kelce is a good tight end. He's arguably the greatest. But we're not talking about what you're doing. We're talking about what you've already done. And sometimes when you force it, bad things happen. One, he's forcing throws to Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce trying to do too much. Travis Kelce is a hands catcher. He's not a body catcher. And that game and football, you play 60 plays. It came down to 4. And that's one of the plays. So right now it is only 2 games. One thing, the National Football League expects the Kansas City Chiefs to be there because that's all they've known since Patrick Mahomes has been the starter. They don't expect them to have slumps. It doesn't help the NFL narrative when Patrick Mahomes, Mr. State Farm himself, is 0-2. It doesn't help. But that's where they at. They still got 15 games to decide. Justin Herbert and company looking real good right now, even though it's only been 2 games with the Chargers. But I think that's why we like, these former. It's the Super Bowl rematch. Jalen Hurts goes, dude. I just want to play football. Now, I will say this. I don't know the relationship and how strong it is with Jalen and A.J. Brown, but that relationship can get ugly, regardless of the play calling. Because
Yeah.
A.J. Brown...
Did you see what was being said before this game? Here we go again. All right. I'm gonna go back to you, Marvin, in a second. But you already had Colin Cowherd coming out and basically said, "Don't be surprised if AJ Brown's gonna be trying to get out of Philadelphia. That this relationship's being strained. That not getting his targets, he's gonna want out of Philadelphia. That winning the Super Bowl isn't everything on AJ Brown's list. He wants to be dominant in his matchups." I get that aspect of it, but that's not the feeling I'm getting when the media talks to AJ. Every wide receiver wants to get his. He wants to get off. He wants to get his catches, his targets, his touchdowns. But I also think that he knows what he has here in Philadelphia from the team they have on the field to the support he gets from the fan base. That the relationship he has with Slim, with Jalen is something he's not going to be able to replicate elsewhere. I keep hearing that multiple teams are trying to get AJ Brown. What now? Me and Ben, me and you have already been through this. How many times? This is the third different time we've heard reports that AJ Brown's is unhappy. He's trying to get traded out of there. First off, they ain't trading him out of there because of the cap hit that's going to take. I don't know. A lot of teams are going to take that number, eat that number to go get him. Regardless if we're talking a team like the Patriots that trying to put a big weapon, around that kid May there. I don't care who you are, you're not going to get it out of there. It's not going to happen this year. Maybe in a year or two, maybe this is a conversation that could be had, but I don't see that happen. I didn't mean to cut you off, Ben. You brought up a point that was kind of relevant to it. I do think AJ Brown is getting frustrated with how the offense is being run. I don't think that he's had the frustration point where he's like, I'm not dealing with this anymore. You're halting my numbers. I'm trying to get out of here and go get mine. I don't think he's quite there yet. Maybe after another Super Bowl, and then the offense is still kind of being run centric, that you might have those conversations. But I don't think that's what we're hearing from AJ now. But go ahead, finish up, Ben, before we.
No. I just think that AJ is the type of player, he wants to earn his check every week. That's it. He's like, look, man, I want to win, but I want to earn my money. And AJ knows, regardless if we're winning, we live in a perception-driven world. It's going to look like, oh, man, AJ can't get open. Which we know that's not the case. But overall point, the Eagles are the class of the National Football League right now. They are the class of it. And they know you're going to have to come through us if you want to win it. If you want to win it all, you're going to have to come through us, either in the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl until proven otherwise. Because if we can win ugly, we can win running away. And that's what they showed against Kansas City. They said, let's just quiet the noise. Kansas City needed this win more than Philly did. Philly goes, dude, we good over here, man. We got ice on our ring. We know y'all got ice, but our ice is current. Y'all got cobwebs on y'all diamonds. Them. So, but I loved it. I love the fact that the greatest neutralizer we've ever seen and the greatest anti-superstar you ever seen is Jalen. He's a superstar. So, dude, it just comes with what I do. I don't need it. Most guys, they need it to validate themselves. Jalen is saying, look, man, we'll talk when I'm done. Jalen, what you want to do? Win. So I just saw Jalen Hurts finding a way to do what is needed, because they know if I'm coming in comfortable, he the one got to overcompensate. And he's the face of the league. Patrick Mahomes the face. I'm just a face. He is the face. But every time we face each other, he can't beat me. So let's keep that narrative going. And Jalen said, only commercial I've done is when I won my first Super Bowl. When the Jordan commercial came out and all that kind of stuff, I'm gonna let him do the commercials. I'm gonna do the winning on the field. So,
all right, Marvin, your thought on the, the good, the bad, and the ugly, week 2 Eagles, Kansas City.
Well, listen, I'll tell you like this. KC, they got old problems and they got new problems. The new problems are Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert out there in LA. Them is new problems because I think that's going to be the class of that division moving forward based upon what I've seen in 2 weeks of football. The old problems, if KC does make it out the AFC, they still can't beat the Eagles. The Eagles, them is their old problems. The Eagles are the class of the NFL, like Ben just said, man. And in regards to them losing that game last week, the biggest factor was their lack of execution over anything else. Yeah, I think KC and Mahomes are about to be in a battle with the Chargers for the next few years. I'm looking forward to this.
I think the Eagles put a dent in that that air of confidence of invincibility that everything, the ball always bounces Kansas City ways. That's done. That is done and over with.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
KC bleeds.
I agree with you. I said it at the beginning of the year. Ben could even say this. That AFC West ain't going to be a pushover this year. That they were going to have to fight for it. Everyone got better. Chargers got better. I think the Raiders are going to be a team to look at over the next.
Carroll ain't playing. Yeah,
and you still got Sean Payton down there in Denver too. That he's in year 2 of putting that. It may not be this year, maybe next year, but before they're really ready to able to go with a team like a Kansas City or the Chargers punch for punch. But they have the right mentality to do so. So it's not going to be a runaway for Kansas City this year or anytime over the next few years. They need a running game. They need more weapons around Patrick Mahomes so he's not running around trying to be Superman every 2 to 3 downs. You cannot continue to do that to him and think that is going to be good for the long-term capabilities of being able to do that. He's done that for the better part of the last 2 years, and we've seen it's starting to take its toll on him. So that's just my thoughts on it.
That's a kryptonite. You don't want to meet it. That's a kryptonite. What does they say that the immovable force or something, the immovable object, whatever they say, something like to think about the Eagles.
The immovable force meets the immovable object.
Yes, and I think for Kansas City, you talk about Superman. Is it kryptonite green? Ain't it green? I'm just saying, it just happens that. But if you are Patrick Mahomes and company, you say to yourself, dude, how good are we though? Like, what do you mean? Like, I know what we were, and Marvin said it best. The last thing I want to add is a new problem. So now I got to deal within my division. But no matter what I do, Philly is saying we right here. We right here.
Eddie, you got to give it. I got to give him credit too. He's mentioning the left tackle. Let's not forget he saved them from a pick six because Andrew Makuma was getting ready to take that one to the house and he ran.
Big man was running
down. So. Absolutely got to give props out to their stud rookie left tackle. He does things that a lot of guys that you don't see out of linemen. So I gotta give them credit for that one right there.
Hustle plays.
Yeah, like he a rookie. He know he better be running. When
he ain't lying. I mean,
they watch that film the next day. He know he.
Oh yeah, he loved that. Let me show you guys when we talk about effort. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. You can just see it on the big screen. He like this, and all of a sudden he say, I played a little running back in the day. Man, sit down. You ain't want them to get in the zone. And that's how you show. Sometimes you show your offense and your quarterback love in a different way. Hey man, let me go ahead and. That's football though. Football to playing over to the rest of the whistle.
You didn't hear his name called until that to that tackle as well, and that's another good thing being a tackle in this league when your name ain't called all game until you make a game saving tackle on a potential interception run back. But down to the last minute or so here, Ben. Let's let you get your parting shots in here right now. How you feeling?
Man, I always feel good, Marvin. I mean, I already sent you the text, man. Welcome to the squad, man. Looking forward to, what I'm saying, doing this media world with you. Listen, come over here to the fan of the end. You come over here for the nuance. You come over here for the nonsense. But you come over here because it just makes sense. I am being Troupe. That's Marvin. That's Steven. And if you ain't listening to the fan of the end, man, go talk to your therapist, man. You need to get your mind right.
All right, Marvin, your final thoughts for this afternoon.
All right, listen, I had a great time talking sports with you guys. Looking forward to doing this with you guys moving forward on Wednesdays. Appreciate the love. Appreciate, just the mentions with my old man. We're looking forward to the Hall of Fame, and I'm looking forward to you guys being a part of that as well.
All right. We'll catch you guys next week, my friends. Peace out.